start. The plaintiff filed the suit before the court of the learned civil judge. The plaintiff did not even pray for specific performance. Another aspect of the matter which cannot be ignored by the court is the real intention of the plaintiff and his bona fides in relation to the performance of his obligations arising from the receipt dated 28th May 2004. Admittedly, in the suit filed in the trial court, the plaintiff did not pray that the defendant be directed to accept the installments of the balance sale consideration and execute the sale deed. Moreover, the receipt does not complete all the facts in regard to transfer of the property in question. What is the status of the property, whether it was to be sold with the tenancy rights intact or tenant was to vacate the premises before transfer of the property, or what was the stand taken by the other co-owners in that behalf, are the material aspects in relation thereto which have remained unanswered not only in the receipt but even in the subsequent proceedings filed by the parties. An agreement to sell has to be definite in its terms and should be capable of being enforced. It was also argued that the plaintiff had made different calls to the defendant for making the said payment, and the statement of telephone has been placed on record. This is a circumstance which can be of any consequence only after the parties to the suit have completed their evidence, what was talked on the telephone and what were its consequences cannot be crystallized by the court at this stage of the proceedings. It is a settled principle of law that in interlocutory proceedings the court can express only its tentative view, which always is subject to final decision and does not cause any prejudice to the concerned party. In the case of Mr. Gujarat Bottling Company Limited versus Coca-Cola Company, the Supreme Court held opened that under Order 30 of the Code of Civil Procedure, jurisdiction of the court to interfere with an order of interlocutory or temporary injunction is purely equitable, and therefore the court, on being approached, will, apart from other considerations, also look to the conduct of the party invoking the jurisdiction of the court and may refuse to interfere unless his conduct was free from blame. The party invoking the jurisdiction of the court has to show that he himself was not at fault, that he himself was not responsible for bringing about the state of things complained of. His conduct should be fair and honest. These considerations will arise not only in respect of the person who seeks an order of injunction under Order 39, Rule 1 or Rule 2 of the Code of Civil Procedure, but also in respect of the party approaching the court for vacating the ad interim or temporary injunction order already granted in the pending suit or proceedings. Another principle is that injunction being an equitable relief, the party seeking an injunction must come with clean hands. Therefore, even where three well-known canons of grant of injunction, that is prima facie case, balance of convenience and irreparable injury exist, still the court in facts and circumstances of the case and in exercise of its judicious discretion may decline the relief for the reasons that the applicant had approached the court with undue delay and not come to the court with clean hands. Moreover, the reliefs claimed for by the plaintiff in the applications under consideration would, on its strict construction, be found even beyond the scope of the suit. Learned counsel appearing for the defendant argued that failure on the part of the plaintiff to take remedial measures for removing the legal defects in the plaint despite a specific objection in that regard taken in the written statement by the defendant further would show that conduct of the plaintiff prior to the institution of the suit was not quite desirable. In order to tilt the balance of convenience in favor of the plaintiff has to show existence of a prima facie case, likelihood of serious prejudice or injustice to the plaintiff, and status of the defendant in relation to the property in dispute. These aspects of the case, examined from any point of view, would not indicate that the plaintiff has a good prima facie case. For the reasons aforestated, there is no merit in the application filed by the plaintiff under Order 39, Rules 1 and 2, and as such the same is dismissed. Consequently, injunction order dated 25th July 2005 is vacated. The application is disposed of while leaving the parties to bear their own costs.